Great. This is still the live show in collaboration with Tequila Radio, the University of South Wales Student Union, and the University of South Wales EDI department. And our next guest, a very, very interesting people, I must say, from two different races. I have a beautiful African and also beautiful Asian, yeah. And they have quite similar stories because they draw their inspirations from almost the same thing, which is showing an example, right? And I'm sure, everyone wants to give or show good examples to people around us, and that's why people would love to look up to you because you're showing great examples. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest, she is,
What?
she's so amazing. She has a distinction in a BSc in civil engineering and environmental management, also a distinction in a master's in civil engineering and environmental management. And that's not all. That's not all, ladies and gentlemen. She is a mother of three.
Thank you.
And I don't even have a child. And how do you even do it? It's a question that I always want to ask you. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me bring up on set Monsurat. Put your hands together for her.
Hi everyone.
Straight up to the question, how did you do it with three kids?
Well, I would say out of family of 5, I'm the first girl, and I have a younger sister, and I have 3 brothers ahead of me. And my brothers are no-nonsense brothers.
What do you mean by no-nonsense brothers? Yeah, that's an African term anyway.
Yeah, being the first girl, they always want to protect their sister in a certain way, that because the area I lived back then in Nigeria is a tough area. The location is in Lagos State, and basically I'm proud to be from there, Mushin in Lagos State. So
shout out to everybody from Mushin.
So the area was rough, and the kind of person my late dad was, is a disciplinarian man. He loves education.
Yeah.
All what he wants is good education, because the kind of environment he found in himself due to his profession. He was a draftsman who never go to university, but works with people with experience and professionalism.
Yeah.
And he want that for his kids as well.
Yeah.
So it grew up my brothers.
Right.
So my brother gave them the assignment to transfer that groomness into with their kids' sisters. So
that's a lot of project management.
yeah, so that was how it all started. Though my dad described, or I would say told me, or gave me the profession I needed to go into.
Okay, so are you saying you drew your inspiration from your dad? And how did your dad, you just said your dad decided the
Yeah.
The field you wanted to go for?
Yeah.
Was that your original plan?
What actually happened was that, back in Nigeria, we write an exam to go into an institution called JAM.
Yeah.
And when I was writing JAM, I was choosing food technology, science laboratory technology, but my result never come out well. And my dad was like, you are good in physics, you are good in mathematics. Why don't you try engineering? Your brother is studying architecture, so you guys can form a company in future. Try civil engineering. And amazingly, when I did the exam for civil engineering, I had the best results ever.
Wow, a round of applause for that.
So that was how my civil engineering journey started.
Great. So I'm just going to take a pause for a while. I'm going to speak to Jia Wei. Did I pronounce that?
Jia Wei.
Yeah, this is the 11th time she's correcting me, and I'm really terrible. Actually, she is a member of the committee, Glitter Camera for LGBTQ4 Colored. Right. Can you talk us through that? What's that about?
Wait, first off, can you all hear me actually?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, great. Here you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So Glitter Camera, the organization is the only LGBT people of color organization based in Wales, and LGBT for those who don't know is lesbian, gay, transgender, and queer people of color, which means, like, let's say you're African, you're Asian, you're Latin American, and you're based in Wales, then we provide support to those. So our organization, we have a lot of asylum seekers, we have a lot of refugees, and we support all of them. So we are like a community, and let's say if you're having trouble like finding housing, if you're having trouble finding like, let's say, converting from asylum seekers to refugee status, if you need like a letter to kind of like prove to the HMRC that that you need to seek asylum here, then we can help you with that.
Great.
So we provide a lot of support
Great.
to a lot of people. Yep.
Talking about asylum now, you've been in the UK for how long? 5 years?
5 years, yep.
Great. Did you start this back home? Did you have the drive to be in a committee like this back home?
I'm always like someone who's always kind of like, I'm really passionate in making a change, basically. Like I hate just talk.
Yeah.
And I just like want to put all the crazy ideas into action. So back home, I've been doing like bits and bobs of different other things, such as like, I did like something called Earth Guardians Malaysia, which is an organization for youths to mobilize them in like climate change. But then over here, I decided to put kind of the effort into Glitter Cymru, but I didn't start Glitter Cymru, but I'm in the committee now. So it's like, I basically want to take stigmatized all the challenging topics, all the topics people don't want to talk about, and kind of like put it in people's faces and educate, advocate, and just like empower people on that.
What kind of reaction did you get?
Oh, I tell you, there's so many hate comments, so many. But at the same time, once you get all those hate comments, you know that you're actually tackling the correct audience, because you want those people who don't actually understand these topics to raise awareness, saying that actually, hey, we're actually, approachable people. We are exactly the same like you and me. And, we're not that scary at all.
Yeah.
So like, basically, even bringing awareness to like social stigmas, bring awareness to like, let's say, mental health, and like, let's voice all the things that we are not supposed to talk about, like sexual health and everything. So I want to bring a voice to that. And because all of that is kind of stigmatized in my country, Malaysia,
Yes.
and basically being LGBTQ is a sin.
Ooh.
So I just want to, while I have that privilege here, I want to be that voice, I want to amplify that, basically.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for her, please. This centers on pressure. I mean, from back home, you can not really do this back home because you're going to get obviously hate comment, and that might affect your mental state, your mental health, and all of that. Monsurat, when you moved into the UK, did you ever imagine that you would come out with a distinction? Did you have challenges walking through that path? Did you ever think that, I don't think this is not going to be possible? My God, I still have 3 kids to take care of. I know what it's like to come from an African home and having kids like that. It's your responsibility, so they say, to take care of the kids and lots of that. How did you thrive?
There are so many things embedded in the drive. First of all, I've gotten a first degree back in Nigeria some years back before coming in for my BSc then. Then I had my ND and my HND in Lagos State, and for quite a number of years, I was busy working as a civil engineering professional, but I haven't gotten to where I wanted to get to. So I needed to convert my HND to a BSc for me to be able to be a qualified or a registered civil engineer. So reason why I came down for my BSc in 2014, and after getting my admission, that was a year before coming for the study, I discovered I was pregnant with my 3rd son, because I have 3 boys. I discovered I was pregnant with my 3rd son. And by the time I would be coming for my BSc in 2014, he was just 4 months old. And my motivator, I have someone I call my motivator, and that's my husband. He was like, no
Round of
worries.
applause for the husband. Shout out to you, the motivator.
So he was like, no worries. What if you die? He's going to survive.
Yeah.
So go in there, go and make us proud.
Wait. You left your husband back
And
home?
my 3 children with him. So I came to UK.
Such a dad. Such a dad.
Yeah. So I came to the UK, and the only thing I could do to make them proud is to have a very good result. Even so many gaps, years of gap for education, So when I got here, I was able to achieve my aim. But at some point, for a day, like I wasn't myself. I cried all day because I was missing my kids. So I met with my tutor, seek his advice, and it was like, it's December, it's Christmas time, just go back home, refresh, enjoy yourself with your kids and come back. And behold, that was what I did.
Yeah.
And when I came back the following year, all through the remaining 9 months to spend in USW was fantastic for me.
So how are you coping now with your kids here now?
And I went back home though after my BSc.
Yeah.
I went back home to go back to my work. Then 5 years, 6 years after, my husband was like, do you want to try it again? Let's give it a try then. Maybe all of us could join you over there. And I came in January last year, and my kids came back. I still left my kids with my husband.
Wow.
3 of them, though they are grown up at that time a bit. So I left them with him for like 7 months before they could join me.
Yeah.
And ever since they came, because I believed what I'm doing is for them.
Wow.
And I want to set an example. So I need to use myself as an example for them to encourage them. So each time my kids are like, Mommy, you are a civil engineer. Give us a bridge. Did you build that bridge?
Aww.
So that thing is in them. They know me to be a civil engineer. So they also have the idea of being a professional in the future.
Wow, a round of applause for that. I promise you, the next live show, I'm going to invite your husband to sit right there. We're going to call that episode "How to Be the Best Husband." Actually, yeah. Moving on, Jia Wei, I'm going to say this. It's really amazing to know that you can actually speak out and be who you are, regardless of, coming from a country where you're coming from, and you put every other thing aside and say, okay, this is what I want for myself, this is who I am. What do you think people really need to understand about the LGBTQ plus community? What do they get wrong? What do they need to understand?
I think the thing they get wrong, most people get wrong, is that like normal people, LGBT people. I mean, it's the same as like disabled people, normal people, or let's say people with mental health issues, normal people. Stop doing that basically, because actually everybody, that's what makes everybody like so unique. And actually also a lot of, let's say, underdeveloped countries or developing countries, they see that LGBT people are like a disease, or you're going through something, you're going through a phase, you're going through like, let's say, you'll get out of it basically. Yeah. This is just you growing up or something like that. So parents usually have a really hard time understanding this. Let's say when their kid comes out as LGBT, and then the kids will be like, we just want parents to accept us as who we are, and we want a community to just, accept us because we are exactly who we are. We're just finding ourselves, and we're actually not confused. Yeah. So a lot of people think that our community is just like one bunch of very, very confused people, but actually it took a very big journey to get to know where I am. So for example, my own personal journey, it took 5 years of discovering myself to come out to my friends that I am gay, and 7 years to prepare myself to tell my family that I'm gay. So it's actually a lot of thought process, a lot of figuring out myself, a lot of really understanding that, this is who I am, embracing who I am, and not pushing it away, because there was a lot of tug and war. And that is definitely, it really shows that we are actually not confused. We took a long time to process this, and everybody else needs to know that this is not a phase, this is who we are, and try to be good allies. And what good allies means is like, if you can be there, as a friend, as a family member, to be there for us, like, as, even before we came out, we are exactly the same. Yeah. So if you can treat us the same exactly as how we are, even after we came out, then that is all we want from you as a community.
I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are very scared to come out because they don't really know what the world is going to give back, like in terms of reaction. And what advice would you give to people like that? Because it's a lot to come out. I mean, it took you 7 years to tell your family, and I know what that is. And in terms of addressing a member of the community, people always make the mistake of calling, I don't know, how do you address someone in the community? I can't just come to say, oh, him, her, she. So what are we supposed to do? How do we find out what to call or address someone from the community?
That is a very good question. I'm glad you brought it up, because currently the best way actually, the best way to do that is just, after asking, what's your name and stuff like that, just add another question, what's your pronouns?
Oh.
That's it. So like in America, they're already doing it really well. And let's say bigger places like Manchester, London, they're already doing it well. So for example, in Zoom calls, you might see like a name, and then there's a bracket, she/her, or he/him, and stuff like that. So a more progressive and really respectful way of just like coming to someone and not just assuming. It's just like, oh, my name is Jia Wei and my pronouns are he, she, they. That's it. So
Amazing.
it's like, so if that becomes a habit and the whole world just embraces it as a habit, then it's not a weird thing anymore to just be like, oh, assuming that is it a he, is it a she, is it a they? So yeah.
So right now I'm about to end this episode, and I'm about to say, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for what am I going to say next? What pronoun should I use right now?
Anything, because I'm non-binary. So non-binary means, oh my God, I can go into a whole detail, but non-binary means, there's male, there's female, and there's a whole gender spectrum here. So everything in the middle between male and female, that's called non-binary.
Oh.
So you address non-binary people by, let's say, they.
Oh.
So I'm non-binary, but I go by anything. So he, she, they, anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands for Jia Wei and Monsurat. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for still being right here on the show. We have lots and lots of good stuff for you. The show continues. We've got Ophelia and the Bed Gang coming up next. Please do not go away. Do not forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Tequila Radio now. I mean, it was amazing speaking to you both. Monsurat, I can't wait to meet your husband again. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, performing for you next. Put your hands together for Ophelia and